Ahoy, my friends, Ryder here, and welcome to another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video. Today I'm headed back into the sealed tower of the Cetra, and I'm going to be taking on the next floor standing in my way. That floor today is going to be floor 58, and this one, honestly, I don't think is harder than floor 57, which was pretty tricky with the 3 Rangdas at the beginning. So let's get into the overall battle effects and the enemy info so that we can get you guys through this stage. Alright, so the battle effects for floor 58 are going to be, for all allies, Materia Command Ability Restoration minus 50%, enemy HP plus 120%, and enemy magic attack plus 30%. So it's actually going to be exactly the same as floor 57 in terms of the battle effects. However, in terms of the actual enemies we'll be fighting, it is going to be different. And it is going to be a little bit trickier in the sense that we have, it looks like, water, fire, wind, and earth elements here. I think we can simplify this down and just say earth, wind, and water, just because the Vaser Glows are weak to wind and fire. So we don't really need to worry too much about fire elemental materia, but I mean, if you have better fire elemental materia than wind elemental materia, it'll help you for that particular enemy. The brown elemental is not really a problem. It's more so tanky than actually dangerous. So in the final wave, you're going to fight the Mamaya Balor, the Vaser Glow, and the brown elemental. And once we take out the Vaser Glow, the rest of it is not going to be too much of a problem. In the first wave, you're going to fight 2 Electro Rangdas, which, if you can remember from floor 57, they're going to start the fight by using a magic attack boost high on themselves and then casting Thunder Dance, which is going to do a good amount of damage if you aren't prepared for it right off the bat. Other than that, in the second wave, we're going to fight 2 Thunder Bombs. Not so much of a problem, especially if you get them down to 50% HP. Right before you get them down to about half, let your HE fully charge so that by the time they start casting Explosive Burst, you can just burn them down one at a time. Alright, so that being said, let's get into my actual team for the floor, and we'll get into it. Alright, so today I will be bringing in Sephiroth, Aerith, and Cloud. I'm going to go over each of them individually and show you why I chose what I did. Alright, so for Sephiroth, of course, we're bringing in the Dark Harbinger, which is his Wind Mastery costume right here. It's going to allow him to do more damage with it, which is with his wind ability attacks. I also brought in Dark Heavens for his first weapon and the Glaried for his second weapon. So this is a physical attack build for Sephiroth, so you want to keep that in mind. For his Limit Break, I switched it to Ardent Flare so that he can give him a physical attack and magical attack boost for self. Alright. And then going into his materias, this is very important. You are going to want to bring a D-Faith materia on at least one person, just for the Fire Rangdas, or the Thunder Rangdas at the beginning, so that we can lower the amount of damage that they're going to be doing. Just like floor 57, if you can survive their first AoE attacks, then it's going to be all downhill from there. So at least have D-Faith on one of your characters. Then for Sephiroth in his second slot, I'm bringing a Fire Rub materia. I'm actually going to switch this over to a Fire Blow. Alright, let's see here. Alright, looks like we'll go with this one. Okay, and then in the last slot, we're going to use a Quakera Blow. You are going to want at least Quake on 2 of your characters just for the final boss. And then in the meantime, wind and fire materias spread out amongst the rest. For Aerith, I am using the Prism Dress for the boost magic attack and the Wind Strike Arcanum. If you don't have either the Harbinger costume for Sephiroth or the Prism Dress for Aerith, it's honestly fine. You can use almost any other costume for this. It's only going to help you with a little bit of damage here and there, but it's not a make it or break it thing. In the first slot for Aerith, I'm running the Umbrella Rod for the magic defense and physical defense down buff or debuff, and then Fairy Tale, of course, which is basically the staple for Aerith at this point. It's like I can't even remember a time where I've not used Fairy Tale for Aerith. For Aerith's first slot here, you are going to want to equip 1 Healing Asuna Fatigue. This is going to be very important going into the final fight because they will be using Fatigue, and if you don't know, Fatigue is one of the debuffs that makes it so that all of your abilities cost 2 more ATB bars than usual, which can really put a damper on things. So don't forget to equip a Healing Asuna Fatigue. In her second slot, I have Aurora equipped, and in her last slot, I have Quakera. Also, healing Asuna Fatigue can also be used as a single target potency heal. All right. Last but not least, going into Cloud, I have his Maritime Sailor costume equipped. That's going to give him extra water damage. I have the Murasame OB10 in the first slot, and then the Maritime Sword OB5 in the second slot. That's going to be clutch for basically doing all the water damage in this fight. So if you don't have the Maritime Sword, I suggest dropping the fire materias from Sephiroth and Cloud and putting water blows on there instead if you don't have the Maritime Sword. But if you even have the Maritime Sword at just base 5-star, that's going to be totally fine for this fight. You won't need to worry about it. As for the summon, I'm bringing Hellfire. This is going to help me deal with the Vaser Glow in the third wave. Other than that, I'm not really too worried about it. In the first slot for Cloud, I am going to equip one Cura just in case I need him to help out with heals. In the second slot, a Fire Blow. And in the third slot, a Quake Hera Blow. Just to go into their stats to show you how they're looking right here. Sephiroth is sitting at around 6.2k HP, 2.5k physical attack. His sub-equipments are the Lefko Kipseli, the Amaranth's Claws, and the Bald Eagle. Going over to Aerith, she's sitting at also around 6.2k HP. She's got almost 2.4 magic attack, and her sub-equipments are the Crystal Gloves, the Black Whiskers, and the Prism Rod. And last but not least, here we have Cloud sitting at 7k HP. He's got 2.8k physical attack. He's running the 1,000 Waves, the Torn Wing, and the Bandage Sword in his sub-equipments. I think I'm actually going to change the Bandage Sword over. Let's see what else we can find here that might work a little better. All right, I think I'm actually going to run the Seaside Collar instead. That will work a little better. All right, well, that being said, when we get into this fight, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to Sephiroth, and I'm just going to start defaithing each of the Rengas. I'm going to do one at a time, so I'm going to target one, defaith that one, switch to the other one, defaith that one. In the meantime, you're going to be just basically sitting back on Aerith and waiting to cast Curaga, because since there's only two of them now, it's a lot easier to survive their initial onslaught. You can, of course, bring Tifa instead of Aerith, bring her Tiger Fangs. That will really take out their damage right off the bat. But as you guys can see, since there's only two of them instead of three, it's going to be a lot easier than before. All right, so that being said, let's get into the fight, and we'll see how it goes. All right, guys, here we are going into the 58th floor. Right off the bat, I'm going to switch over to Sephiroth and just defaith the first Rangda. Immediately after that, switch over to the second one and defaith that one. That is going to allow you to survive the damage right off the bat. You just need one from each one. Switch over to Aerith, and then change over to the defense stance, and be prepared to cast Curaga. Alright, so that's honestly the hardest part of the fight, I would say. And then from here, it's just downhill. So from there, you're just going to let your stances recharge back up, get yourself back up to full health as soon as possible, and just take down the Fire Rangdas one at a time. Honestly, you're just going to be sitting on Aerith right here and healing. Cloud and Sephiroth will take care of the rest of it, and it's not too bad. Alright, so I'm just going to cast another Curaga, get everyone topped off as well as possible. And we're going to be going into the second wave right here. Alright, so heading into the second wave, just focused one bomb at a time. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to cast Night Bloom on it so that Cloud has an easier time killing it. They're really not super dangerous until they start to get close to half health. In the meantime, I'm just going to be keeping my HP topped off as much as possible. Alright, in the meantime, it's getting very close to half HP, so I'm going to switch over, let Cloud's ATB charge to full, and then I'm just going to go crazy on the C-Splitters. We are going to take down the first bomb as fast as possible without letting it get off explosive force. Then switching back to Aerith, I'm going to cast Curaga, and we're just going to do the same thing. Once the HP of the bomb gets close to 50%, I switch over to Cloud, let the ATB charge to full, and then from there we just take it out as quickly as possible. Alright, try to go into the last wave with as much HP as possible. If possible, it will definitely help a little bit. Alright, so here comes explosive force. Switching over to Cloud, we're going to use C-Splitter. I'm going to switch intermittently to Aerith and use Curaga, then back to Cloud, and we're going to use C-Splitter one more time. And then I'm going to switch back over to Aerith in preparation for the final match. Alright, so going into the final round right here, you are going to target the Vaser Glow right off the bat, Night Bloom it as quickly as possible. Alright, and then we're going to use Ardent Flare and then Hellfire immediately right here. And the idea is to take down the Vaser Glow first. It's kind of an annoying creature. It can do a decent amount of damage. Once you take it down, honestly, the toughest part is kind of done, but you can still lose after the Vaser Glow goes down, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so Ifrit's not going to do too much damage to it, but we're just going to keep on slowly focusing it. You're going to want to keep Aerith's Healing Wind, just for later, and keep an eye on if they get fatigued. You'll see that the little 3 lines mean that one of your characters is fatigued. If I see it, I'll go into the pause section. I'll show you guys. Okay, so there it is right there. So let's go into here. Let's go to Sephiroth. I don't actually think it shows his debuffs right here. It doesn't. Alright, so just keep an eye on Sephiroth right here. You see those 3 lines? That means he's been fatigued. So I'm going to remove it. Oh, it's actually Cloud that had it. Alright. And just keep up your HP as much as possible. And just try to take down this Vaser Glow as quickly as you can. Alright, so Sephiroth got hit by an attack. I'm going to actually Healing Wind right here. Just to keep his HP up as much as possible. You don't want their HP getting low right here. It can become a problem later on if you're trying to catch up on your heals. Alright, so we're going to use the Gale Strike right here. Switch back over to Aerith. And we are going to heal from that. Just make sure you're keeping an eye out for the fatigues. Alright, after the Vaser Glow, switch to the Brown Elemental. We're going to take down the Brown Elemental next. Alright, and just keep your HP topped off. I am going to use Night Bloom right here. It does look like Aerith got fatigued. So I'm gonna wipe that real quick. And we're just going to slowly take down this creature right here. Once it is low enough, it's going to self-destruct and put a major debuff on the Monastery, which is going to prevent it from doing this attack that's basically going to cause a lot of damage to the team. Alright, when Sephiroth's Ardent Flares comes up, just use it as quickly as possible because that's going to give him a really good buff. Alright, and we're just going to be focused on taking down this Brown Elemental. Keep Night Bloom up when you can, and with everyone, just use everything that you can to do as much damage that you can. Alright, so it looks like Sephiroth has fatigue. I'm going to remove that from him. And yeah, we're just going to steadily move along here. I'm going to hit everyone with a heal. Looks like everyone has a massive physical attack and magic attack down right now. So they're going to be doing less damage, but it's not too much of a problem. It's just making the fight drag on a little bit. Looks like everyone just got fatigued. So I'm going to hit Aerith with it first. Then I'm going to hit Sephiroth with it second. And then we'll prepare for Cloud in a second right here. Alright, it looks like Cloud is going to get healed of the fatigue. Alright, so here comes the destruction. You're going to want to get your HP fully topped off right now as fast as you can. Because the Monastery is about to do a big attack. And this Earthquake will do a decent amount of damage for sure. So you want to make sure you definitely do what you can to survive against it. I'm going to cast Hellfire right here and then just pray that this attack does not kill Sephiroth. But even if it does, I think we still should be able to take it down. So right after this, I'm going to make sure to switch back over to the defense stance. Alright, and we're about to take that first attack. So hopefully Sephiroth will survive it. It does do a lot of damage. Okay, so Sephiroth is going to survive. Basically after that, the fight is all downhill from here. So I'm just going to hit them with one more heal. Alright, then I'm going to switch to a quicker speed right here so the fight takes a little bit less time and switch to semi-auto. I'm just going to get everyone's HP back up, immediately use the limit breaks as they pop, and it should be basically over before you know it. Alright, so there goes Ardent Flare. Both Sephiroth and Cloud are going to be using their Quake materials to do as much damage as they can. We just got Healing Wind, so that's looking good. I'm going to use the Night Bloom right here so that we can start doing some more damage. And we have the Quakes, and it looks like the fight is basically over right here. I'm going to use Healing Wind one last time, just to make sure that everyone is alive and okay at the end of the fight. And it looks like the fight is over. All right, so there you have it, guys. That was floor 58. Honestly, not harder than floor 57 in my opinion, which is nice because floor 57 was definitely kind of a tricky one. But yeah, I'm curious, did you guys use this same approach? If you don't have the maritime sword, I'm pretty sure that water material will be fine. As you can see, I didn't have any earth elemental weapons going into the final fight against that like main creature boss, and it was totally fine doing damage, so it shouldn't be a problem with any of the other characters. Overall, yeah, I have a higher power rating, but I think that for these videos, you may not have all the same things that I do, or the same weapons or the materials, but I think that the idea behind these videos is to show you guys a base strategy for going into these fights and a way of beating it. Of course, with Ever Crisis, everyone is going to have all kinds of different things. No one is going to have the same account. And so it's kind of up to you at the end of the day to fill in the pieces of what you don't or do have. And that being said, I hope that this video helps you guys get through the 58th floor of the Sealed Tower of the Cetra. I want to thank everyone for liking these videos, commenting, subscribing, leaving your guys' thoughts and comments on the matter. If you guys have different strategies, I'm always open to hearing them and conversing with you guys and just generally working towards getting better at the game together. So that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care and peace.